Guys, today we are series where we're going to learn how to design and develop a Twitter, like, or just a microblogging mobile app. And basically, this is going to be a full stack kind of tutorial. It's not only going to be the front end, but today is just going to be very light. I'll just introduce the tools we're going to use, and basically we're going to use React Native for the front end. Mostly I'll use Expo, and for the back end we are going to use Node.js, and I'll use GraphQL to provide the API, and the database will mostly be MongoDB. Alright, so let's just jump right in. I'm using Ubuntu 18.04, doesn't matter. So I'll start installing or initiating our project. And for the video today, we are only going to design the login page. This is just a very simple video. The next videos are not going to be that short, and they're going to focus on a lot more stuff. This is just a very basic introduction. I'll post the entire index for the tutorial, or the contents very soon. But for now, let's just get into the video. So let's just go with Expo initialize, and we're just gonna call it Twitter, something like that. And then we'll just choose blank. Okay, it's a little bit slow. Okay, so we're going to choose blank, and we'll just name our project. Just name it Twitter. Okay. Well, I'm going to use yarn, but you can go ahead and just use npm. Doesn't matter. And I'll just let it install really fast and get back to the video. Okay, so now we're just going to go to Twitter, see Twitter, and then for now I cannot use the emulators, so I'm just going to use the web emulator, but probably in future videos I'll try to either show you with my phone or use an emulator. Alright, so now I'm just going to do this, and we're gonna start. I'll use Visual Studio Code in order to work with our project. Alright, so now this window here opened. We can scan this QR code on the Expo app and just start browsing the app on either iPhone or an Android phone. And we'll start tunnel ready, and I think it's building the web app. Oh yeah, I'm running something else, so it doesn't really matter. But okay, so it's building this here. There's nothing to show. It's just going to show us a simple page that says go to the app, the JS, and simply start doing stuff, start building. So anyway, while it does that, I'll start a layout. A few things. First of all, we have to structure our folders a little bit. We have to do, we have to build a few components. But for now, okay, I like using Ripple, just doesn't matter. Okay. So what was I saying? Yeah. So this is basically it. For now, I like to create a source folder, and here we're gonna divide it into two. We'll just go with components and maybe screens. Okay. And now let's just think about this a little bit. We're just gonna go to the app.js, and here it just says this. So let's just delete this for now. This doesn't matter. And hot reloading is working. Nothing in here. And for now, let's just create a page here and called login. Obviously, that's not how it works. And by the way, we're going to work with functional components, and we're going to use hooks. But for now, we'll see. So this is going to be the login screen. And so we're just going to return, and obviously none of these things we have. But for starters, we're just going to get React, use state, because we're going to use it from React, and then we are going to get view, because that's the first thing that we got from React Native. Okay, so this is basically the first thing that we're going to do, and obviously we have to do export default login, because we want to be able to import this login screen in here. And basically how we're going to do that is just say import login, and then from, and then go to the source screens, and then log in. Okay, so that's it. Let's just think a little bit about how we wanna style this page. First of all, we're not going to style anything in here. In the upcoming videos, the app page or app, the source of this file will contain the application as a whole, and this will mainly be the routing, where we'll be able to route between different pages. Obviously, the login page or the login screen, because this is a mobile app, will be one of the routes. We can navigate to it, and up until now, I'm not sure if I'm going to use React Navigation or React Navigation Flux. React Native Navigation Flux. We'll see. By next video, I'll probably make a decision. But for now, let's think about this a little bit. So we don't really need the styles here, but we'll get to it. So basically, what we need to do is this is, by the way, called a fragment, because you cannot do something like this. You can say, oh, this is a view, and then this is another view. This is a violation of the JSX of JSX. JSX expressions must have one parent element. So basically, what we have to do is just either write a view and be that the parent, and then include login, and that will work, or just go with a fragment. Okay, so that will display our component, which has absolutely nothing. So let's just write something. We have to actually, if we want to write display text, we have to import text also from here. Right, okay, this is the login screen, just to make sure that we already imported this and it's being displayed. Okay, so this is the login screen, and that works well. So okay, let's think about the login page or the login screen. What will it contain? It will contain maybe the logo of the application. It will contain two text fields for to allow the users to log in. So your email or phone, and then the password, and then a button that says login, and maybe two buttons, one for reset the password, for resetting the password, and the other for signing up. So yeah, let's try to start getting into that. So before we go any further, I would like to introduce you to a library that I use for styling here, and then that is Native Base. And that will also introduce you, if you're new to React Native, that will introduce you to how or expo, that will introduce you to how you can import stuff to React Native. So we'll just open a new terminal window here, or tab, doesn't matter. And then we're just gonna say you don't have to write sudo. I have something weird there, and I have to write it. Yard add native base. Okay, and then okay. Alright, well, let's install this. Let's talk a little bit more about the logging screen. So, we're just going to have a very simple page. I'll style it with a weird color, and I'll pause the video until this installs. Alright, so now we're going to we're going to import a few things from there in a second. But what I need to do here is start styling this, okay? I'm not going to use the inline styling, so I'm just going to say constant styles and start with the first one. Let's say login screen. It doesn't matter what we call it, as long as it's correct. So styles dot. So the styles is basically just this constant, or and then the login screen is the variable or the object inside this the variable styles that we'll use to style this view. So basically, what we need to do is and we could just go with background color, and hold on one second, and we'll use that. And for now, let's just do the padding, just arbitrary. This is arbitrary. This is not what I want to use. I'll introduce you to something else in a little bit. Okay, so basically, this is what this looks like now, and I don't think 20 is enough. We could say padding top, and say maybe padding top is 80, and then later on we're going to introduce a few variables or a few constants that we're going to use for different platforms, for iOS, for different versions of that as well. But let's just stay focused here, and this is what this should look like after finishing this. And I know this text does not really need this. Let's just say welcome, and again give it some styling, and I'll just say styles dot login title, and let's see. Okay, so for now let's just say the color is white, FFF, and let's say font weight, and this is a little important, maybe 700, and let's make it a little bit bigger. Let's say font size maybe 32. Let's see what this looks like. Okay, so basically what we need this to be centered, so we can do a few things. We could just say flex 1 and flex directions. Well, do we want these to be columns or rows? For now we'll go with columns. I will understand in a little bit what that means, and let's see if I messed anything up. I did not, or did I? So far no. And then justify content center, and then align items center as well. Sorry. And let's see. Yeah. Okay. when we add other things, it will be a little bit, you know, higher in the page. But let's just see. Then let's just write, you know, some sort of a subtitle here, and let's just go with styles. Subtitle, and this is just going to say login, okay, and then the subtitle, we're just going to create a new thing here, and let's say, well, the color is that. Let's see. Now, oh, I'm sorry. Wait, what happened? Why doesn't this work? Wait, are these 6? No, they're not. I think the problem with the A. Yeah, okay. So this is not the most visible, but sure. Font size, maybe here, let's say 16. Yeah, let's see. Okay, so then let's now get the text inputs from text input from native base. I mean, the last version of native base had a little bug with the font awesome 5 Pro, so let's hope it doesn't do us to us here. I'll check, doesn't matter, but we'll see. Let's just add it like this and see what happens. A fatal error. Review the application logs. Okay. Alright. Let's see if we import it from React Native. Let's see what's going to happen. It worked. Okay. Alright. Basically, it doesn't matter that much. We're gonna see the problem with native base in a little bit, but God help us. Anyway, so for now, let's start styling this. Again, styles dot text input. Damn it. Okay, text input, and let's see. I'm gonna let it stay the same, you know, background, but let's just give it a little bit of padding. Let's say 20 for now, or let's go for maybe 16. Okay, and then you know, let's say border bottom width. Wait, border bottom. Hold on, React native border bottom width. Yeah. All right, let's say 2, and then border color is yeah. Awesome. Yeah, that color, and let's see what happens. Okay, yeah, that's interesting. All right, so this is the first field we have, and let me just introduce you. Let's just stop the design for a little bit and introduce you to hooks. Let's just introduce you to how we manage the state and functional components. So basically, what we need to do here is store this value, the username or the email value. Let's just make it the username for now, in a state variable, and that state variable we're just simply going to call username. And how do we manage it? How do we change it? We're going to basically change it by a function called set username, and then we're going to say use state, and the initial value is null. So this is our state variable here, username, and this is the setter that actually changes the value of this state variable. So basically what we're going to say is, well, the value is username, and then on change text, and then we're going to have a function here that says, well, here's a text, the text that changes, that gets written on this field or text input, we're going to just say set username and then the text, or we can just say, well, but that might be a little bit confusing, so I'm just gonna call it user. I was gonna call it username. For scopes, no problem is going to happen. This is correct 100%, but it might confuse some people a little bit, so it doesn't matter. So this is the first one, and let's just copy it because it doesn't matter. And then now say password and set password, and just create another state variable here, and obviously make it null, and let's try them out. So now, since there's a value here, so we could do two things. We could do something interesting, just check if this actually works. And we can just say welcome username. This is stupid. This means absolutely nothing. What I'm going to do right now, but I just want to show you that when I write, or when the user types in the field for the username, there's going to be some reflection of these updates in the state. So let's try that, and let's say Ahmed or Mike or Mark. It doesn't matter. This is not important. The point is, this worked. Okay. So now that we know that our changes to this input are working and are being reflected in the state, what do we want to do? We want to finish this screen by a button, and obviously we also have to. I don't trust. By the way, no, I don't trust that the button is going to work from native base. But let's see. Did it? I have no clue. Let's just type something inside. Yeah, it did not work. So let's just import it from React Native. I'll try to either fix the problem with the native base. There was a similar problem I fixed in the other project. By the way, is this going to work or not? No. React Native, you have to say, I think, text, isn't it? Well, tests. I think that was the syntax. No. Okay, that's unfortunate. All right. So anyway, well, now that we did, I think the problem might have been because I did not write text. Whenever we want to render text, is that we have to write it in. I mean, obviously, I know that the problem is that there's an attribute of the button here that actually, gives you the option where you can write in the button. So for now, just hold on 1 second. So I decided to import React Native paper because I wanna, we wanted to use, or should have used the title property here, but that's not what I was going for with this button. So for now, let's just say text login and re-render this and see what happens. Oh, I wrote native. Okay, so Okay. So yeah, all right, that's cool. But what I wanted to go for was that I wanted this button to have a certain style. So I'll just go for styles dot login button, and for starters, let's just try to give it a background color of, let's say, RGBA 255 255 0.5. I'm not sure how this is going to turn out, we'll see. And then border radius of say 25, and see what happens. Okay, alright, that's not too bad. And I want to give it a margin top because I don't want it to stick the password here to the password. So I'll just say maybe 20, maybe 16, let's see. Okay, that's not bad. There's something important that we forgot to do, a placeholder username, because we want the users to know what they're inputting. And here it should be password. And okay, so yeah, this is almost done, but I want to do something a little bit different. So this is expo vector icons, and I want to use, I think, this maybe. So in typo, alright, or in typo, it doesn't matter. So import in typo from expo / vector icons, and here instead of this, I'm just going to say in typo, and then I'm not sure what it was. I think it was let's just go with the expo vector icons. Okay, so just name, alright. And say size of, let's say 16 for now, or 32. And nope. And have this as, well, let's say this is 32, so maybe height here would be 48, width here might be 48 too. Alright, so okay, that's interesting. Okay, so let me just try to style this a little bit more. I'm not sure if this is going to work or not. I will try. Okay, so no. Let's try another one. Okay, so let's scroll this for now, and let's see what happens, and let's make this 50, and let's say padding maybe 0. That's not the smartest idea ever. Still okay, so for now this works. Okay, let's just to introduce one last thing, and let's say if you press on this button, well, just alert. Or let's just introduce functions. How to call functions from the press. Well, this is very easy, but it doesn't matter. Then login button or login function, doesn't matter. Login function. So here we're just going to say constant login function, and let's say alert. There's a villager in your town? No. Okay. We're working on it. Come back later when we have an app. Okay. So let's try if this worked or not. And I think it worked, but I didn't see an alert. So let's try to do something else. Maybe set username. I'm not sure. Okay, for some reason this doesn't work. Do I have to say on click because this is the web version? Yeah, I had to say on click because this is the web version, yeah. So let's just say alert, doesn't matter. So we're working on it, come back later when we have an app. So I think this is pretty good for the first video. We just probably need to add the register here and the forgot password. So we'll just do that really fast and then try to do the whole thing later. Okay, so for now there's text, and in order for us to be able to press on the text, let's use something called touchable opacity. I think it imported it, hopefully. Alright, so for now let's turn this and say okay, register. Let's see how this looks like. Obviously it's not going to look like anything because we didn't style it, but let's see. Alright, so for now let's go register button or register something, doesn't matter. So for now let's go here and say, well, for starters, let's just give it margin top of 16. Let's make it wide, and let's make it a little bit bold. Okay. Yeah, I know why. Because I forgot to say styles dot register button. Okay, so the forgot password thing will be the exact same way. I can just copy this and say forgot password, and obviously here we can add some events. We can say on press do something, on click do something, because this is I'm testing on web, so I have to do on click. So for now this is where we leave. This is the screen we built so far. In the next video we're actually not going to work on React Native. We are going to work on the back end. We're going to use Node.js as I said, and GraphQL and so on. But for now, this is it. Thank you so much for watching, and see you in the next video.